So I needed to make a video, kind of what's going on right now. Sometime this week or next couple of days, we're going to be taking the math test. I hadn't studied it all for any of the math, but let me know, I guess, what I do remember, which is going to be very little of the amount of mathematics that I recall. But it's supposed to be 60 minutes, which is probably one of the longer tests out of all the four that I'm going to be taking. But I had something else that's crucially more important that I need to talk about. They're using these very violent electronic devices on me to self-sabotage me, and they're using these electronic devices to control my brain, completely controlling the ability for me to function or say anything, and basically dumb fuck me so that I cannot do anything. And every time that I speak on behalf of my life and try to defend myself, they literally shoot me an electronic device onto my body to indicate some sort of interpretation of what they want me to do and who they want me to blame. So when I start complaining about something, they'll slightly shoot something into my buttocks to be like, shut up, and then they'll shoot something in the back of my head. So it's just like, the shooting the different extremities of the parts of the body have a representation of something, or how to control the human brain and individual, and that's what they're doing to me. I can't even explain how calculated this is, and how, in my opinion, what real evil is. For an example, I just got back from UPS, and now they're pressing an electronic device to slowly pass out the gas, and while I'm trying to have this conversation, and now it's bubbling, and now they're pushing more in my intestines, and they're making me worship Jesus. Now they made me pass gas. Okay? But I wanted to say this because it's so brutally, unbelievably tormenting, because I think of my mother, not her fucking twins, who have been so disgusting toward me and my dad and everything. And I don't blame them so much as to know that they're not smart enough to understand what the hell is going on, and they're disposing me the way that they're disposed of my dad's sister, and the way that Frankie was brutally being raped by over 10 fully grown homosexual men, and nothing was being done about it. And the more that I think about how Frankie was talking to my mother, the more that I think about how Frankie was being trapped by my own mother, knowing that this is the only life that I understand I'm going to have. Because not only he has no friends, but he has to accept the rapes so that President Barack Obama can get away with the laughter and George Bush can. Because I know Frankie's in a nursing home, and I know that he's in a mental state that he can't take care of himself anymore. I know that. I really, truly believe that. I've believed that for a very long time. But they want to alleviate the white race, Ken Cooper and the white supremacists and the gays and the queers, because it's Michael Jackson and everyone else that got away with what they did. There's nothing going to change the fact that they raped me with a transgender. And now they're shooting me. Look, they're forcing me to worship Jesus. They're shooting an electronic device that fumbles into the human heart body, and I have a crucifix, and they're doing it right over here. Look, the guy downstairs looks like Ken Cooper, and they're shooting this crucifix, and they're shooting something here in the bottom in this area, and then they're shooting it in my chest to tell me, I told you who you're going to worship. Oh, Jesus Christ or Ken Cooper and the white supremacist motherfuckers. I'm telling you right now, this is what this motherfucker downstairs is doing. And this is what they're doing. They're shooting me with these electronic devices, and they have a frequency machine that shoots into the center of my chest, and you can feel it thumble. Like you can feel it just, like it rattles your chest, or it slightly just does this. Like, oh, you see how your heart works? That's your heart. Jesus is your heart. And this is what this motherfucker is doing, because he knew about Frankie being raped this entire time, and so did Sarah did. And Kenneth Cooper at the radio station the entire time was playing me stupid and literally talking shit about my dead sister, my biological father, and turning me against my own father in any way, claiming that that was his grandpa. So I want to make this video to clear that there's a lot of things that you don't understand that I'm not able to talk or even put on video, or I become too lazy now to even want to say anything because they keep torturing me. This is all about their religion and white supremacy and for their spiritual afterlife. This has nothing to do about Jesus or God or anything. They just want to use this as a way to poison me and get rid of my life. There is nothing more than that. That crucifix is totally fucking shit and garbage to this piece of shit downstairs and the people that are telling him to do that. And it's very consistent. So I wanted to make that very clear that this is what they're doing to me every single day that I wake up. It's beyond crazy that I can even make a conversation, that they're not shooting my brain right now, that I can't even think. And it feels like right now somebody's shooting something, an electronic device, into my brain that basically dumps me down, where it gives me a sort of dumber IQ and I don't know how to function or talk, or I stumble across my words, or I have trouble sort of struggling a type of think, like I'm struggling to think. And then they'll transition that over to Jesus Christ when I confront Frankie, if I live long enough to know that he's in a wheelchair in a retarded state after having his ass ripped open because Kent Cooper was a white hero for Sarah Cooper, eventually for Kenneth. It was not, as much as it was Sarah and Ken, it's Kenneth. They know 100%. The white supremacists have to make sure it all goes to Ken and Sarah, because Kenneth works for the radio station and he's a young person, and that's their faggot over there that needs to be famous and clarify it all. So I want to make this video because you can see how I was talking about, I went to UPS store to make a delivery or to purchase something, and you can see how I'm trying to talk right now and I'm stumbling across the words. They have an electronic, stop! They're having an electronic device that's shooting into my brain that's preventing me from thinking. It basically dumbs me down where I can't think. I can't process a thought. Where you have trouble to sort of think and process your brain. But I'm going to try to make this video as they're trying to block off me from making any conversation about what's going on. This guy downstairs is entirely going after my dad's sister, biological father, defending Ken and Sarah Cooper, especially for his white supremacist, and protecting Kenneth. I've had somebody just charge at me and ran into my apartment yesterday, about 2 or 3 days ago, and he basically was sort of threatening me. And he was standing in front of the Jesus Christ cross, and he was standing in military stance, like he basically ordering me, and when he was having a conversation with me, he knows that he was trying to scare me and intimidate me and trying to tell me what items going to be putting on the model ship I'm working on, and projects and gifts that I'm giving my family and friends. He stands in front of the crucifix and he starts persecuting me in his Jesus tongues, and that he's the owner of Jesus and you better do what I tell you to do, otherwise I'll shoot your brain again. So he wants to confiscate the guilt of Frankie being anally raped for himself, so he takes that away for Ken and Sarah Cooper and Kenneth, and Frankie being raped for over 10 men for the first 10 for 10 years, from the age of 5 to 15 years old. So 15 years old. You can see how I'm trying to talk right now and they're not letting me. This is the motherfucker that is doing it. And I want to say this, that they're directing this back at me as much as they can in a very sophisticated psychology method. Now, if I didn't have a Jesus cross and I didn't have a Bible or any of these things, nothing else would work, because they keep sending the threats from other people. And it's the people that tell me, you better do what Jesus told you to do, otherwise we're all going to attack you. And I can't call the police, I can't run anywhere. They start making me shit my pants, literally, physically. They have an electronic device and you just start having to shit yourself. They send people to get violent around me, and that's what they repeatedly, consistently fucking do over and over and everywhere I go. But I wanted to, as you can see, I've been spending 10 minutes, now they're shooting my knuckle right now. So as I'm talking about this, I'm trying to talk right now and they're not letting me. They're using an electronic device that is preventing me from talking. But they don't want me to tell you about the poison that they're doing. They're mutilating my dead sister. I swear to God, they're mutilating, dragging her worthless dead corpse and her spirit around and taunting it all around me and calling it sophisticated psychology that's needed for something else. They're full of shit. They have control over all my bank accounts, everything I do, my brain, my physical body, everything that every single morning. They're doing some of the most sadistic, evilest shit that you can imagine while I'm laying in bed, shooting things into my face, forcing me to smile whenever I bought a Happy Meal item that I sent to my mother as a Christmas gift that my biological father gave me before I never saw him again until I was 20 and I didn't know it was him. So I wanted to make sure that you don't understand what they're doing to me is they're just sabotaging me in every single way that you can imagine. Now, they got a guy, I went over to the UPS store to print out a sheet of paper to do my taxes. And keep in mind, 2 weeks ago, there was a guy that looks just like Kenneth, some white guy, half black, half white guy, real light-skinned piece of shit motherfucker that is real vulgar to attack me for the representation of Kenneth, because they all know that Kenneth was involved mutilating the situation. He doesn't have any. It's so evil that this piece of shit motherfucker did this, that it's so profound that anyone would have the audacity to do anything like this. But this is all about white race. It doesn't matter about anything else. It's just to make sure they're protected, make sure they're fine, keep them clean, and make sure everyone loves them and keeps them contained. If they did what they were doing to me and you gave him a rope to put him in a fucking room, the motherfucker would hang himself. Let him hang himself and kill himself. You didn't want to go to heaven. You should have done what I told you to fucking do. Kill yourself. And I swear to God, I'm not trying to be fucking nasty. This is what these motherfuckers are doing. It's so fucking crazy, the electronic devices and excuses that they're coming up when I'm absolutely doing fucking nothing. I'm trying to make this video even talk to you about what's happening. And I've been spending the last 10 to 12 minutes talking about something else and to tell you what actually happened at UPS, because that's what they're doing to me. That's exactly what they're doing. Frankie's being raped by 10 homosexual fucking people, and every single work environment, every single place that I'm going to is Lynette, Kenneth, Ken Cooper, Sarah Cooper, white supremacists. Oh, just give them a little slap on the hand. And for the American flag, for the white race. It's 100% from top to bottom, all white supremacy. The niggers, the blacks, they go up next because they control the music, they control the popularity, they control how vicious they are, and the whites know that they own it for the American flag because of slavery. So we Mexicans don't have very much credit at all, if any at all credit. But I wanted to make this video to hopefully reach out to those who can watch it, if there is a single soul that can, to what they're actually fucking doing to me. I went over to UPS store and I print out some of my taxes. Now they're very, very detailed on how to use these metaphors and these platforms in an environment. I get there. Once I get there, they get the guy that looks exactly like Ken Cooper. He looks exactly like Ken Cooper. He behaves like him. He tries to talk to him, tries to talk and behave like him, and they role play these stages. They get somebody that looks like Kenneth, kind of look like him, try to behave, and they try to mentally get me to think that that's Kenneth and then that's Ken Cooper. Once I'm in there, they use these electronic devices where literally it stops me, like I'm just like waiting in line, and they'll shoot these electronic devices where it makes you move. And then literally it stops you. There's an electronic device that shoots and it makes you stop, like you can't move forward. You can think, but it's like, I don't know what device it is, but it prevents you from going and moving your physical body. And they use that as an environment to represent Marissa's dead body, my sister who had Down syndrome that died in the princess outfit. And she is basically in a coffin, right? And we bury people into the fucking ground. So they use these printers as I'm having my back face to it. And then they'll have this guy, there's only 2 guys in there because the rest of the people left them there for about 2 minutes. They order the other people to leave. Basically, this is very orchestrated. And these faggots go in there and they tell this other guy that looks like Ken Cooper, and he's behaving like Kenneth, and he's playing his role like Kenneth, like he's supposed to. And he walks by me and he goes, shh. So basically what they want to do is they're training me physically and mentally to then put the blame and everything on me, so that when Marissa's dead and, dead body and burial and everything, so that I just shit it out. I just shit it out of my ass. And it's a psychological brainwashing thing that they're doing, as they're just walking by and they're saying, and he goes, shit. So what you're doing to the brain and what you're doing to this person is to subconsciously go and target the subconscious mind and guilt of this individual to use the spiritual existence and idea of this worthless dead corpse of Marissa or Miranda or whatever her dead body is, her name is, for their profitable gain. They use that as an entity, as basically, it's almost kind of like black magic. It's very much like black magic, in my opinion, of what they're doing. But as he's doing this, he prints out the sheet of paper, and then he gives me the sheet of paper, and he goes, "Oh, don't worry about it." And and I go, "Don't I need to pay?" He goes, "Oh, don't worry, I'll get it from this guy," and he starts laughing. So they know that as I'm waiting, standing there, and I can't move, they're making the perimeter to be, that's Marissa's dead body, that's Ken Cooper, and that's Kenneth. And then they'll just play these roles and trap me, forcing me to behave and do these whatever I'm supposed to be doing in that containment, in that environment, to then subconsciously poison me. So when I'm standing there, being forced to stand there, there's plenty of open space around me. The other two guys are there sort of in the corner, Ken Cooper and Sarah Cooper, because remember, my sister lived right next door to my house, so they play these roles. And so when I'm standing there, all of a sudden, when I feel like I can't move, they shooting an electronic device at me real violently, so you get frustrated, like it's an agitating tool. You get frustrated. And that's whenever I look at this guy and he goes, and I say, "Don't worry, Marissa's yours." So I told the guy straight up, Ken Cooper supporter, that her dead body is his. Now, this is a guy at the UPS store. The UPS store, remember what that represents? Up, UPS, ups. Up for the Jesus Christ. You see, up for the Jesus Christ. Now, use that brain, UPS, for that. And so they keep doing this very sadistic, crazy shit to poison me, to contaminate me, to control me these types of ways. I can't even imagine what they're doing to my mother, and this is why I feel so sorry for her. Because the President of the United States is ordering this disgusting behavior. So, right before this guy gives me, I'm in there for maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes tops. Right before this guy gives me this sheet of paper, they tell this guy to do this at me. He's printing out the computer like this, and he goes, like he's laughing, like, "Oh, is that your dead body, Marissa? That little dead princess girl yours? Oh, look what you did, poison you." Because they know that they're shooting these electronic devices, stopping me and then shooting me. Look, and then put it on you, put it on you, put it on, and this is, but the visual of what something looks like is the white representation of Ken Cooper, is white supremacy. It's for the white race and for their Jesus Christ bullshit. It has nothing to do at all of any good about Jesus, any of that. It's just, I can steal whatever you want and I want to put it on the piece of shit cross because I can get away with it. And that's exactly what this motherfucker is doing. Now, if you really want to know who's talking shit and nasty, point out the people and hang the people that are shooting electronic devices that are doing that. That's who's doing it. It's not me. It's these motherfuckers that are doing this. It's nobody else that's doing this. It's them that's fucking doing this fucking shit. And I'm not the one playing with fucking these black magic type crazy ass shit that they're fucking doing. And they're doing very, very detailed, sadistic things to then excuse everything that they're doing. 5 days ago, they put a black magic card on the fucking ground. A Magic Gathering card. It's just a conscious poison way. And of all the places that I'm going, I'm walking, there's a black magic card. The Magic Gathering, the card game, and it's there on the floor, randomly on the sidewalk. And they do this all the fucking day, all day, everywhere I go, on the bus, in the Walmart. They do all kinds of crazy shit like this, consistently to train and poison the situation. Now, I want to make this very clear that they're shooting an electronic device is actually making me stop shooting the electronic device, so then it makes you agitated, and he's taunting me so that I can't do anything but get these taxes that I'm trying to complete, because taxes is the worthless dead body for Marissa right over there. But you can see how it referenced the taxes and how it attaches itself to the blame, because we all have death and taxes in life, and that's guaranteed, as Beethoven or Benjamin Franklin said. But I wanted to make this video that this is exactly what they're doing. Michaela, I could never express enough how you have no idea how worthless these fucking scumming people. This would never happen to no white girl that was blonde. No white girl at all. For all the God-given fucking dead bodies, this would never happen to no white girl like this that died at all. 100%. And they're doing this consistently to gouge out her fucking eyes and her spirit and her being or whatever it is that's left in this afterlife, to use it for their profitable gain. That's all they want. And that's what Sarah Cooper's doing, that's what Kenneth was doing, and that's what Ken was doing. There is no one more that wants that ownership. Now, the guy that came here threatening me, where he keeps standing in front of the Jesus cross, and he wants to take ownership of her dead body as well, and they keep attacking me over her dead body. As you can see this right here, I don't know if you can see this. This looks like this is probably about the same size of what Marissa Miranda's, my mom's daughter, who died many years ago, didn't get a proper burial. This is probably about the same size where her coffin would have been like. Her dead body would have been laid across this table. My mother would have identified her dead body. Now this guy came in threatening me and acting real hostile and using the interpretation of the electronic devices and Jesus the cross here, and he stands in front of it like he's the owner of the dead body. And as soon as he comes through the door, and he's very direct and very threatening, very calculated to poison me mentally, because he knows that this is my sanctuary, a mental state. So he's trying to do this to me. As he comes in to threaten me, he comes over and he knows that the heaters aren't working, because I haven't turned on the heaters or anything. I have it on the lowest. He comes in first of all at like 6 o'clock, which is very late in the day. And it is not even him. It looks like one of his identical twins. And I just noticed he looks different. He comes in through the door. He comes in through the door, and he immediately tells me, and he's leaning against the door like this. So when he's standing on the door and I open it, he's standing right here. You can see there's no reason for him to be standing here, and he's standing like this, like he wants to punch me in the face. So the reason he's doing this is because he can use this as a way to tell you, no, Marissa's dead body belongs to this worthless dead body here, Jesus Christ. Oh no, he knows Jesus better. So he stands right here, like threatening me, like, I tell you, we fight for Jesus, and we're like, sort of this attitude, right? Now keep in mind that an American Marine soldier kills people wearing a cross. He blows people's heads open with a firearm. So keep in mind that this is what's happening, okay? So don't get poisoned by this either, because that's your interpretation. So once he's doing this, once he's standing here, he then comes over here and he's like, I get really anxious and paranoid 5 minutes before he shows up. Like I get really, I feel like I drank like a gallon of fucking caffeine coffee or some shit, and I'm like tweaking nervous, like out of nowhere, and it's an electronic device that they do this to me with. And then I sort of calm down right before he shows up, and it's an electronic device that they're doing this. So once he's standing here, he says, I need you to turn off the fan. This is why he says he's knocking on the door. He tells me he needs me to turn off the fan that I have over here, that I have the fan over behind this over here. He says he wants me to turn it off because it's freezing the pipes. This has nothing to do. Look, let me show y'all. this this barely has any suction at all. I mean, you can barely feel anything. Look. This is what he says. He says that that's the cause of freezing the pipes. Okay, so once this guy begins to find a reason to break into my apartment, and this is the maintenance guy, Vincent or whatever, I don't know his fucking name, and he gets sent over here. Okay, so once he does this, he walks in and he starts just coming into any environment to violate me in any way, to make sure he gets into the sanctuary of my comfort zone, to make sure this is what he wants. He wants to control the situation. He wants Miranda's dead body. He wants to staple it this for the white race, for Ken Cooper, for Sarah Cooper, and mostly for anyone else that thought they could benefit off of it. He wants to benefit his religion and his idea of it. But he can only do it more if he poisons and threatens me and targets me to be obedient what he's telling me to do. So keep in mind it's a brainwashing tactic thing that he's doing. So he tells me, he goes, I'm going to go come over here, and, he starts monkeying with this, and he knows, and he begins threatening me, knowing that he knows that I know about the electronic devices, and he goes, here, let me turn this up. I'm going to go and turn this up for you. And he's doing this to me like, here, want me to control you? Huh? You want me to control you? And this is what he's doing. So he knows I'm nervous and scared because the electronic devices are real violent. So once he does this, he goes, here, I'm going to come over here. And he kneels down and he puts his hand over there. And then and I go, oh, okay. Well, I come over here and I put my hand over here to see if there's warmth, because I don't think it's working. And there's some kind of warmth or some, like very little of nothing there. And then he moves, gets up, stands right back in the Jesus position. So when I'm here, I decide I'm standing right here and I grab this and I pull it because I don't want it to catch fire, heat. And he's standing right here and he's looking at me and he goes, and he does that. Because this is a representation of a physical environment of Marissa's dead body. Now keep in mind, in order to make this excuse happen and to play these mental games, he tells me there's another, remember I talked about that there's another old man that's dying over there, and he's playing his acting role, was mouthing off about my biological father and my father who passed away many years ago. Some white guy in a representation, he wants to kill himself for Ken Cooper. Well, I went over to try to be nice to this guy a couple of times. At least I was nice enough to drop off a holiday card for him and say hello and, try to joke around. But this guy was fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting and mouthing off. And the people working with him, I don't know, it was his daughter, whoever it was. Now he's exchanging that dead body over there to then make a mockery of this. And he goes, yeah, I got a guy over there. Yeah, go right there. Yeah. And so he's acting real crazy, like lunatic. I don't know if I'm allowed to even grab a knife and stab the shit out of, try to kill this motherfucker, like what the police officers would do, because I feel so threatened by this motherfucker. And it's so crazy to me that he's doing this and he's being sent to do this. I'm doing nothing. I'm fucking on my computer playing video games or watching YouTube. That laptop never goes to my bed. If any, I don't think I've watched one movie yet on that laptop. Not one movie, and I've had it for like 3 months. So, like I said, I wanted to make this video about what's going on and what they're doing. They're using the electronic devices. There is no mercy. There is no nothing. It is straight poison what these motherfuckers are doing. They're very, very hostile, very, very crazy about what items, what angel figures, what skin color, what hair color I'm going to put on this model ship that I'm working on, and how it correlates a meaning to this. 5 months ago, when I first, a month after moving in here, I spoke to some people at the tech center, which is the Amazon computer company, and this fucking piece of shit motherfucker on the phone that sounded like fucking some black kid, some black guy. It sounded like some Marine or some military guy, and he was sounding like a young guy, and he began threatening me, telling me, saying, well, yeah, I know somebody who knows how to crack codes. it doesn't matter what cracking codes anyone can do, because they can say, oh, yeah, I cracked the code, we need to kill him. Yeah, 9/11, American flag, I cracked the code this time. Yeah, I know, I'm real smart. And this is what this guy begins to tell me over the phone. He begins to tell me that he knows how to crack codes. And he begins threatening me because they want to make sure that I'm not able to be artistically any form of expression and any freedom in any kind of way that it strictly benefits their race, for Kenneth, Ken Cooper, and Sarah, and how to mingle all this situation to turn it against my mother and me. That's all this is. There's nothing good benefiting that's coming from this that they believe and want to implement directly at me, because I have nothing in life. Now, keep in mind that this is all about the subject, about my dead sister, this dead little girl. They want to make sure they confiscate the entity and the ghost or whatever it is, that whatever's left of her, and shit it over to the Jesus Christ. And this is why this guy was threatening me about my dead sister. That's why when he's referencing this coffin, this dead little girl over here, so that he takes ownership. Because when there's a burial, that if there's a burial that ever happens, of any type of proper burial where there is a ceremony, this piece of shit motherfucker right here is not going to be there. Vincent, this guy that was threatening me in front of the Jesus Christ, claiming he was a Jesus Christ cross of the messenger of God. Now keep in mind, he's playing these poisonous roles. It's very poison what he's fucking doing. So he wants to ingest this poison, what they're doing to me. And this is what they're doing. It's very calculated. There's nothing good about this. Nothing good. So I began just spilling the beans and telling him, look, I saved my mother's life. Frankie got raped by 10 homosexual fucking women that raped the shit out of his fucking ass, and I got raped too. And he's standing there like, yeah, white power, yeah, American flag, I'm George Bush. Like, and this is what he's doing. And as soon as I explain and tell him, he's standing there for about 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes, I would say, total of conversation. And I tell him that my mother had her baby snatched. And as he's standing right here, I look over at him and I go, yeah, my mom was like, saw my dad, and she looked over at me and she goes, oh no. And as soon as I do that, he goes like this and he goes, and he gives me this like the devil look. He gives me the demon, like he's in order, and he does this, like he's putting like a pressure, like he has an electronic device in his shoe that can dumb me down, that shoots the brain, that shuts me down. And all of a sudden when I'm talking, I start doing this like I'm having a stroke, like, and he does this because the reason that he's doing this is, I told you who to worship. I told you what you're going to do. So I wanted to make this video to make an understanding of what my environments and what these people are actually doing to me. Keep in mind that most people don't understand the crucifix. They only see it as a treasure box. They only see it as a way to get away with murder and killing whatever you want, and make reasoning that as long as they're smarter, they can take whatever they want and say who gives that portion. So I wanted to make sure, and it's theirs. That entity doesn't belong to a kingdom, so what the Holy Bible says, or any of these things. It's this motherfucker that shows up that does. And now they're making me pass gas because they want me to shit it all out again. You can please understand that when you go to combat and people go to war, in all countries, when you're shooting and killing people, blowing their fucking heads off, they're worshiping that cross. If you look on YouTube and you watch Marines, how they're shooting a machine gun, and you watch how somebody's head gets completely shattered, blood drops to the ground, and it's literally squirting like a hose out of somebody's fucking brain after. Yeah, and it's just, Marine soldier just doing his work for Jesus Christ and the American flag, white race, yeah, or saving the country. That's Jesus Christ there for you. That's Jesus Christ there for you. That's what they're fucking doing. And they don't see anything else other than that. They're not about no Mother Teresa. They're not about any of that goddamn shit. They want to make sure it benefits them and their kind and their breed and their side. I'm not an American to them. I'm not part of their country. I'm an intruder, only scavenging to whatever it is I can take. And they treat me that way. Now, I want to make this video because I think it's important. One thing I also needed to say is that whenever I left out of that store earlier today, about an hour ago, I'm walking down the street, and I stop again. In front of the Mexican restaurant, this white motherfucker is sitting on his phone, and he squats down like this. Oh yeah, that's Marissa's dead body, yeah, because remember he's facing the Mexican store, and he just squatting, so it's way, yeah, I just gotta shit and kill this motherfucker. Yeah, you see how I just kill a motherfucker when I need to, American flag? It's real fucking crazy of what these motherfucking stupid asses are fucking doing. These are unbelievable, disgusting fucking human beings. Very disgusting. I don't say anything. He's like 10 yards in front of me, quite a bit of a distance, and I stop, and all of a sudden, like I feel like somebody's controlling me. Somebody's controlling me physically, like telling me to turn left, turn right. That's what they're doing. So I go back to the store to buy my, I go up the street further down after turning around and feeling I needed to stop to go do something else. But I wanted to make sure because they knew that I was going to go buy some religious candles. Once I buy these religious candles, I bought them, I walked out, and I left. But I wanted to make this video that they are torturing me and self-sabotage on this situation. They're cutthroating and mutilating my dead sister in every fucking way. This is what I wanted to say in this video. When I'm walking out the store and I stop and I have to walk back across the street, they send a white motherfucker with his white kid to run across the street. And he goes, yeah, Jesus Christ. And he yells at me, yeah, Jesus cross. Yeah, Jesus the cross. And this is what he's telling me. This is what this motherfucker is doing. Now keep in mind that I had a crucifix on the front door and back door when we grew up. Frank is being raped by 10 homosexual men. Ken and Sarah Cooper mutilated my mother the entire fucking time. But my mother has no idea how much I'm really defending her and how much I'm really doing for her. Ken and Sarah Cooper did this many years ago for the entire lifetime of what they were doing, and to my father. Now, I'm telling you right now that there's no one else to blame, because I understand that no one else to blame. You have to understand that this is Kenneth Cooper at the radio station. It was that piece of shit that led the whole fucking thing to happen the way that it did. Because he's feeding off the idea that he can have me arrested and toy with the police because he knows that he's the daddy's kid from the police department, detective, and his dad is picking up dead bodies off the fucking ground. So I wanted to say this because he was talking shit, about Michaela and my biological father. I don't care about that worthless motherfucker, whether he's dead or not, but I can tell you this right now, it's all about white supremacists and helping that piece of shit, because they all want to feel sorry for this motherfucker, and they're just turning it around against me. There's nothing more nastier about what these fucking people are doing. They're all, I'm telling you, hundreds of them are all walking in their cars, all getting out of their cars, trying to hit me with their cars, trying to open and go inside the stores when I'm there, all working in teams. You can see how they're all looking at each other, all working in teams, synchronizing, all like a pack of hyenas coming at me. You can see how they walk, they talk, how they communicate, and how they're all they're all on one team of themselves. So I wanted to make this video because I think it's important.